this is Cheryl and welcome to my sewing room. I'm going to demonstrate how to do this really easy decorative towel and pot holder set. The towel and the pot holder each take about 15 minutes to put together. So let's get started. My towel came from Walmart and my 1-inch wide rickrack also came from Walmart. Not all Walmart stores carry fabric and craft items. My fabric here was just some scrap fabric that I've had for several years. Measure the width of your towel and cut your rickrack and your fabric strip 2 inches wider than the width of your towel. My fabric strip is 4.5 inches this way. At each end of your fabric strip, fold it over 1/4 inch and then press it with your iron. Fold it again 1/4 inch and press. And then make sure you press the other end the same way. Then on just one of the long edges, press it over and press 1/4 inch all the way down. And fold it one more time and press 1/4 inch all the way down. After pressing, then stitch along each end along the inside folded edge and also stitch along this side on the inside folded edge. On this last edge, fold it over 1/4 inch and press all the way down. When you look at the lower edge of the towel, you'll notice that it's not even. It's very rare if it's straight across. So I recommend you place the lower edge of your strip anywhere from 1/2 inch to 1 inch below that bottom edge, just to make it look straight. Fold each end over to the back, wrap it around to the back at each end and pin it down. Also place pins along this edge here. Stitch along this end and also stitch close to the edge up here at the top. Place the rickrack over the edge of your fabric strip and it's overlapping the towel as well. Wrap the ends of the rickrack around to the back and place pins along here to hold it in place. Stitch on each side of the rickrack so you're following along the curved edges. So stitch on one side, then go over to the other edge and stitch it down. I find that stitching on both sides of the rickrack will hold it in place better and it'll look a lot nicer. If you just stitch straight down the center, these edges are going to curl up. And this is what it looks like when it's all done. For the front of the pot holder, you'll need 1 square of fabric for the back, plus you'll also need 2 squares of cotton batting. All 3 of these are 8.5 inch squares. For the very front of the pot holder, you'll need 2 4.5 inch squares of one color and then 2 4.5 inches square of another color. Then you'll need 1 piece for the loop that is 2 inches wide by 5 inches long. Take the 2 different colors, bring them front sides together, stitch 1/4 inch seam along here. Then always press your seams on the back side first, then unfold and press on top. And when you're pressing, you want to press these seams towards whichever is your darkest fabric. Then bring them over to the front. Now turn them opposite of each other. So you have this pattern. Now bring them front sides together. And because you have your seams going in opposite directions, you can get those seams in really close. I would pin this seam in place so it does not move And of course, if you need to pin across, do so. Then stitch a 1/4 inch seam all along here. Press your seam on the back side, then unfold and press on top. And I've pressed my seam all in one direction across here. To make the loop, turn it to where the back side of the fabric is facing up. Fold it in half, line up the edges so that they're even across, and press with your iron. Unfold, bring each side edge in towards your center fold line, and press again. Bring the other side in and press. Fold it in half and press again. Then stitch close to the folded edges all the way across. Place your 2 layers of cotton batting down first. Then place the fabric for the back down on top. Have the back side of the fabric against the cotton batting. The front side is facing up, the pretty side. Place your loop in the center and pin it in place. Take your top fabric and place it front side down. So you're now looking at the back of it. Make sure that the seam and the loop are center, and place pins around all of the edges. Up here is where my loop is. Down here at the bottom edge, you want to leave it open where you're not going to stitch over it. So start on this side of the opening, back stitch, stitch down to this corner, and an easy way to get around your corners is to leave the needle down through the fabric when you get a 1/4 inch away from over here. Then turn your pot holder and stitch again, and do that at all your corners and stitch all the way around, and stop here and back stitch here. And again, it's a 1/4 inch seam allowance on all 4 sides. Trim some of the corners off, and the reason for doing this is once you turn it front side out, the corners have a tendency to be very bulky and lumpy. So to relieve some of the bulk, trim some of this off. I like to trim it down to maybe about 1/8 of an inch wide. So I first cut across there like that, and then I recommend you cut a little more off the sides because they will be really chunky. And again, do this at all 4 corners. Reach in between the fabric for the top and the fabric for the back, and begin turning it front side out. Once you have it turned front side out, reach in there and poke all of your corners out. At the opening, fold the edges inside 1/4 inch and make sure it's even across here. Also, pin it down to hold. Then stitch close to the edge all across here. In order for the pot holder to maintain its shape and to keep the cotton batting from shifting around inside, it's important that you do some top stitching all the way through the layers. So stitch straight down the center seam here and across here. If you're interested in learning how to do decorative top stitching like you see on this pot holder, then click on the link in the upper right-hand corner. For more decorative towel and pot holder projects, play this video until a green screen appears, and then click on the links. If you like this video, click on thumbs up, and then click on share to share this video with your friends. And if you haven't subscribed yet, click on that red button down there in the lower right-hand corner of your screen. Click on the little bell and enter your email address so you receive emails about my latest video. If you're not receiving those email notifications, go to your cell phone or iPad, click on Settings, and turn notifications in the on position. This is Paul, this is Manny, this is Jamie. So glad you came to my sewing room. See you next time, and happy sewing!